So the last thing that you need to think about is how can you tell if an internet site is reliable? Remember that anyone can post information on the internet. Make sure the information you are using comes from a person or an organization that can be trusted. One simple way to tell if a site is reliable is to look at who runs the site. Usually, looking at the first section of a web address will tell you where it came from. If it is from a museum, university, or some other place you've heard of, chances are that it can be trusted. The following slide provides a reliable checklist you can use to decide whether a website is reliable. If the site contains several characteristics in the questionable column, you probably shouldn't use it. Okay, so here it is. It's called a dupe detector. So the first one is, do large companies you know advertise on this site? If it's a big company like Weight Watchers or Gap and they're advertising on the website, it's probably trustworthy because otherwise these kinds of companies wouldn't give their money to these sites. Are there any dead links or links to moved pages? Do the images support the stated facts? Is the site hosted by a credible provider and reside in a trustworthy domain? These are things like, are they university pages or organization pages? Are there links and references to other websites, resources, and experts that corroborate this information? Corroborate means they support it. They tell the same thing. Is the resource available in another format? Like, are there books that go along with this, or DVDs? Do the site's authors have other publications with credible sites and publishers? So the publishers of the site, have they written books on this topic or articles that have been published? Are the site's authors experts in this subject? Do they have credentials or experience around the topic? Is contact information provided, and does the place or email exist and work? Does the site present highly biased visuals, such as racist statements, derogatory remarks, or emotional language? You got to be careful for that. And is the site professional? So grammar and typing errors are not present or very minimal. If you have 2 or 3 that end up in the questionable column, it's probably not a good website for you to use. The last thing we need to look at is how to cite internet sources. Citing your sources, just like you should. Remember, we're using the MLA format. Citing your sources means telling people where you got your information. Just as you list books and encyclopedias in your bibliography, you must also include the sources of information you got from the internet. Citing your sources is important because it shows others how to find the same information you found. To cite a source on the internet, you need to have a written record of the following information for each website that you actually use in your report or essay. The name of the site and the author, which is who made the website, a company, an organization, an individual, what day you found the information, the web address or URL, the copyright date for the website, which is usually found at the bottom of the home page. To cite your sources, you need to use the format below. Author, period. Title of website, period. Web address or URL, period. Copyright date, period. Date you found the information, period. For example, look at the following website on Vasco da Gama and compare it to the information below. Author, there is no specific author listed. Title, ThinkQuest, Explorers of the Millennium. There's the web address. The copyright date is 1998. This is found on clicking on About This Site. The date found, April 30th, 2006. So using this information, and pull it up again, a bibliographical citation for this website would look like this. Okay. Citing your sources. I want you to go and try it. Pause this, go to that website, and fill in the information listed on your worksheet. How would you cite this source in a bibliography? So to review, search engines. There are regular search engines and there are meta search engines. Search engines that will categorize the will categorize the information, and then there are search engines that will allow you to ask a question. To search on the internet, try using an advanced search or use words and symbols to narrow your search. And citing sources is recording important information, and you have to put your information in a correct format for a bibliography. So now you should be ready to start your own research process on the internet. Happy searching!